Hi, my name is Peter, and I'm the founder of Murphy Writing of Stockton University.
It's so much more than just a writing workshop or writing getaway. It's a family. I mean, I go thinking, I want to be a better writer. That's my main goal, but then so much more happens.
It's sort of like a spiritual practice, really, to be able to get away and kind of find a quiet space or hear internal voice and go from there and find a spark in being in a new space and meeting new people from all over the world. It was really beautiful experience.
It sustains me for a while. I come, sometimes it's a few months between workshops, sometimes it's a few weeks. It helps keep focus and remind me that this is an important part of my life because it's easy to be distracted.
Any criticism was very constructive. It never felt like a put down. It always felt like, there was this genuine need to actually make your writing better. So it came from a very caring place.
Not only do you get peer feedback, you also get feedback from people who are published, or feedback from Peter himself, who's been doing it for so long. So that's really important. I mean, because sometimes when you're staring at the same piece of work and rewriting it, you just need that other voice to come in and kind of help you mold it and craft it.
I had a book published, and I attribute that to coming to the seminars. 2 poems that I wrote at Murphy Writing Seminars was published in Essence magazine. So the more I came to the workshops, the more I wrote, I submitted my work, I gained more and more courage, and I started to get published, and so I wasn't going to stop a good thing. I just continued to come.
I have been published with a lot of the work that I've written through Peter Murphy's writing seminars in Fault Lines, Sugar House Review, Main Street Rag, and recently in A Smartish Pace.
I would attend a retreat because you have the time to focus. There's nothing else to distract you. There's no kids, there's no laundry to do, there's no grass to mow. You're with people that are there for the same thing. There's quiet time and write and share and maybe workshop some work for each other.
We very quickly became comfortable just writing and sharing our work and reading it to each other, and very, very supportive. So it was just a fantastic weekend.
I've started a lot of pieces, especially during the winter getaway, because you're allowed to sit there and just focus on your blank notebook. And then that in itself kind of creates magic, especially when you're in an atmosphere where everyone else is doing the same thing.
I've made some wonderful friends, and there's a group of women that we come every year and meet at Seaview for the Murphy Writing Winter Getaway. And this year we're also going to get together for one of the Sure Thing workshops. And we come from different parts of the country and we meet at Peter Murphy's writing seminars.
The one-day workshops are really just as fruitful, and what they do is they stir up something like a bag of marbles so that everything starts to stir around, and that motion continues well past the day that you spent within the workshop itself.
I found Murphy Writing online just through Google, and I was looking for something local because I wanted to get into writing again. We hadn't been writing in a long time, and it was great when we found it.
Kind of sparked enthusiasm back into it. I mean, it was just the long lull where we weren't doing other things in our lives, but then just that one day of writing helped us, we wanted to do more, and we started writing more regularly.
The one-day event is so refreshing. It takes you away from your home, away from your telephone, your computer. I love it. Yeah.
Murphy Writing gave me the opportunity to travel abroad because their programs were actually affordable. I had been to other international programs for writing, And it was very hard for me to pay for that, plus the airfare.
I think one of the things that happens when you write abroad, and I've done a lot of that, both with Murphy and by myself, I think that the isolation in a way helps you. There's a certain amount of isolation because you're not at home. And so I think being somewhere else in a way helps you, because it helps you the way that it would help any expatriate to think about your home in a different way.
There's something about writing in a different place, whether it's a different comfort zone or just a different way of looking at the world, that is very attractive. And I've felt that my writing has changed for the better because of that.
I like the pieces I wrote there. I've been able to surprise myself. And that includes the diction and the topics and the freedom I suddenly feel to write a piece that I'd been holding back for too long. The traveling opened that up for me, because if I can come all the way here, then I can go all the way there.
Once you arrive, you might feel like you've landed sort of fish out of water in this country, but what you're about to find is that Peter has assembled this kind of elite crew of writers he's made contact with, maybe he's worked with them before, either faculty at universities, people who've been long published. You're going to spend time, real time with them. And that was my experience. I hadn't anticipated how closely in touch I would get with these writers overseas. And you generate relationships with people who've seen you working.
It's a recipe for something beautiful, something that you discover about yourself, about words, and it's an adventure every single time with him. I've been to Wales, to Spain, to just a multitude of places, to the Atlantic City beach and boardwalk, and everything is a new day with him.
And it really launched a creative burst of writing for me. As a matter of fact, when we were flying back on the plane and there were these screaming children and it was noisy, and I sat and wrote a whole Huffington Post piece on the seminar itself. I don't think I would have been able to do that previously. It really did help me.
The getaway helped me just make time every day to sit down and write, and then doing that, over and over while we were there, it set a routine in motion, and I was able to carry that with me for a while when I got back home.
When I first started coming to Murphy writing workshops, I was a single mom, and my parents were both dying. My son was really ill, and I used to save up to come to these things because it was my one time that I could have time for me, and it was a time of growth, and I think it saved my life.
It really is geared to individual writers.
It's really
finding their own voice.
To help us get better.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. And it works.
And it's fun.